What are some of the conversation points you have with a prospect to determine what price range your proposal will be in? Number of pages is one thing I've seen, but my concern is that sometimes the client has redundant pages on their website, structure is poor, and pages may need to be consolidated. How do you address that before putting forward a proposal?
So our proposal, so the first thing I'm going to do when I go to a website is kind of look at what either the navigation, or if I can find a sitemap, what that sitemap looks like. Because, and this is something I learned from 48 and 48. One of the roles I have there, or at least was doing there, was vetting the nonprofits that were applying. And so there's a certain level of site that is actually appropriate for a 48-hour build. Something that has 300 blog posts, even if you can import those blog posts, probably not a good look. If it's got 200 pages, probably not a good look. So I've gotten good at kind of diving into and finding out what a full site looks like. Our team is pretty good. If we can do something at like 50 pages, it's going to fit within our world, because likely we can cut some of that stuff down. But the page count conversation isn't always a huge deal. I'm more looking at what's custom about the project, what's different than what I would assume. And I would assume page content needs to be updated and overhauled. The way that we're approaching proposals now too is a little bit different, to where I'm giving a proposal that has a full scope price. It says, here's what I believe from all this conversation that we had is what the total cost of the project's going to be. But the first thing we're going to do is the discovery. And the discovery is going to include these things. And at the end of that discovery, we're going to put together a statement of work that then is a much more clear vision of that scope and what that cost is going to be. So if there's anything we didn't uncover during our first conversations, we're going to uncover it then. One of those roles is what we call a content coach. And their entire responsibility is to outline and get approval for the sitemap. Every page, every post, not necessarily listing every post, but if there's we just need to know there's 300 posts that need to be migrated or whatever. And then also they're working on page content for those things too. But during that discovery is where we really start to identify what the scope of the full content piece of the website is. But for the most part, that's usually pretty much the same. And we have caveat in the proposal that says up to X amount of pages. If we've realized before then that there's more, we change that number and change the price or whatever. So that's kind of how I handle that. I don't know if that's a really helpful answer for that specific question, but that's the probing of the website happens probably before I even get on the phone with somebody, after they've filled out the project assessment sheet.